Time to Talk Podcast. This is Charles on the Time to Talk Podcast in a different format, different venue outside of, from being behind my desk as I normally film my episodes. I am filming in my car. Just a talk to you video, a video about YouTube more. This is for creators and for people who are starting channels, especially if you have a smaller channel and you're somebody out there struggling and you're trying to figure it all out and you're trying to, just like me, right? So up front, I will tell you, I'm trying to figure it out. How do we do this? What is the trick? What is the key? What is the formula for cracking the algorithm, for being monetized, for making money on YouTube, and for getting it all done and being successful, especially if you're just starting out, you're a smaller channel, right? What do we do? So I want to talk about that, and I want to share some of my insights and give you some of my tips and tricks. Some of them may be totally useless, or you might identify with them and you might actually take some inspiration from it, and that's all I can do. Sometimes on YouTube we overthink about the content we're sharing, and do I have to be perfect, and do I have to be super professional with 5 million subscribers before I start doling out advice? Imposter syndrome kicks in. So with that up front, me telling you that I don't know all the answers, I'm trying to figure it out myself. I'm sharing with you the few things I do know, and it's more about the inspiration. It's more about just giving my guidance. It's a life guidance kind of thing. It's not a magic formula. I feel like people click on these YouTube videos where people talking in their car or talking somewhere, keeping it real in their kitchen. YouTube is paying me $30,000. It's really easy. They're paying everybody. I feel like sometimes there's like some clickbait to that, right? There's a sense of people preying on the smaller channels and the desperation of some of these people, so they click on it. Anyway, with that said, here's the deal. I can't figure out I'll share with you my experiences. I started a YouTube channel during the pandemic, which I think a lot of people did. I started a film channel. I'm very, very into film and screenwriting and that industry. So it made sense at that time for me to start a YouTube channel where I talk movies. I was talking movies all the time anyway, with people, with friends, and it's just what I love to do. So it made sense. I didn't go into YouTube with the idea of, I need to get rich, I need to figure out how to make money or get an income stream. I mean, that was probably, just a natural part of the process, but realistically, I enjoyed talking movies, and I think, I'd like to have a channel where I just talk movies, and I could do that. So I started that channel, and that channel went for, I guess it's been up for maybe 3 years now, since the pandemic, 3-4 years. And I never took it serious. I didn't take it as a business. I didn't sit down and create content consistently and try to keep up with the algorithm and make sure that I was posting daily or at least 2-3 times a week. I didn't do that. I kind of just casually did what I wanted to do because I didn't want to be forced into that position of thinking I'm relying on this channel. I need it to succeed. Just didn't have that. It was just organic, natural me. And to this day, that channel's only got about 4,000 followers, maybe a little less. It just never really took off to anything beyond that. And I'm not upset with that because, again, it came from the heart. It just came from a place. I didn't want to feel like I was becoming part of the machine. And I already had work. I already had a job. I have income. So it wasn't something that I was relying on. Now, let's fast forward to this current channel, Time to Talk Podcast. Time to Talk Podcast came up for years. Even before the film channel, I had been wanting to talk politics and discuss politics way back when Obama was first running for office. This is 2007, 2008, that election. I started a blog called Swim, Say What You Mean. And it's funny going back to look at that now, that I had written so many blog posts. This is what people did back in the day before everyone had a YouTube channel. You were blogging, and I was doing a lot of political conversations, and I got into these conversations with people through the years. Doing a podcast, when the podcast space started to blow up, I kept gravitating towards that space, wanting to do that. I just wasn't quite sure what niche it was going to be. I wasn't sure if it was going to be all politics or current trending topics or combination of things. Not to mention, I had a few restrictions that I don't want to talk about right now, but some conflicts of interest that prevented me from really just speaking my mind on those podcasts. All right, so I had to be. It was really tricky how I was going to navigate it. So I never really did it until September, the end of September, with this election, the most historic election. I felt compelled to really get out there, start the channel, just do it, and just start talking. So that's where this channel came from. I've grown since September, since the end of September. We've grown to a little over, we're getting close to 5,000 followers now. So I appreciate the people who have followed. Monetization wise, it's really interesting. And this is probably the heart of what I want to get to, right? Like the money aspect of it and the success of the channel. I have kept up with this channel. I have been attempting to keep it live. I do want it to grow. I would like to have an extra income stream coming off this. I had a really interesting 2 days before Christmas. I was checking something in my checking account. I was looking at some. I saw a deposit for like $800. I was like, what? Well, I was like, where did that come from? And I look at it, and it's from Google AdSense or whatever. It was from my YouTube channel. I had no idea where that came from, but 2 days before Christmas, $800 unexpectedly showing up in your account is a good thing. So come to find out, like one of my videos that I posted is like well over like 5, maybe 600,000 views at this point. And I think that's where most of the income is being revenue. It's the revenue is coming from that one video. It's a video that has to do with a young lady, Allie Carter. It had to do with, the whole Diddy thing and that whole scandal. But that one video, for some reason, is consistently getting views, consistently getting comments. It's got thousands of comments, and it just keeps going. I'm shocked by it. I've done so much content regarding Trump and Harris and the lead up to the election and the Biden administration and the deep state and all my different opinions on things. I've done several videos on Diddy. I've done several videos on trending things, on the Robert Brooks case, which most people don't seem to be talking about anymore, but the beating death of Robert Brooks. I've worked on my thumbnails. I keep trying to get better. My titles. I have a subscription to vidIQ now, and I started trying to use vidIQ to help me get better, generate better content, and generate better thumbnails and titles and descriptions and tags. I've actively put effort into this, and honestly, I still can't figure it out. I can post a video about, whatever, post it up, and it'll have 8 views. 0 comments, 2 likes, if that, and I get discouraged. I'm like, I have decent production value. Not that that's everything these days, but from a content standpoint, I don't feel like, wow, am I not saying anything worthy? Am I not talking about anything worthy? This is trending, right? Why I should at least have 10 people, or maybe 100 people should be able to see this by now, and it doesn't happen. So with that said, my guidance to you is I don't think you're going to figure it out. I think there is some magic behind it all, and I think the trick is really the consistency and staying true to yourself and making sure that you are doing it for the right reasons. Right? Don't stress yourself out. I'm not going to stress myself out because I'm putting time into putting up content, and for some reason it's not garnering the amount of views, or I'm not growing fast enough. It will happen. I believe it will happen. So I'm just going to keep pressing and keep going. And that is my guidance to your smaller channels, to the people who are questioning themselves, questioning their content. Just keep pressing on, because you're going to have those moments where you'll see another channel where it's some guy with hazy lighting and a poor microphone, and it's like he's at 50,000 subscribers and he's got likes and comments. You're like, how did that happen? And then you'll watch the video and try to figure out, well, maybe he's just really, really, really good. And it's kind of like, it's not anything fantastic. And again, I'm not hating on anyone, but I think it's natural as a creator that you do sort of, from a competitive standpoint or position of getting better. That's how I usually look at things. I usually look at things in terms of trying to improve myself. What can I do better? And sometimes you just look out there and you'll see there's people who not necessarily better than you, but maybe they're more consistent. Maybe they figured something out. So never be closed to learning from pretty much all the different channels and different people out there doing their thing. I haven't figured it out. If you guys have figured it out, let me know. Again, YouTube comes up with these videos all the time. How to get monetized overnight. How to get an extra 10,000 subscribers. This is what you got to do. Pay attention to your thumbnail. You need to do this in your hook. You have to make sure that you're posting at this time when the wind is blowing a certain direction. You got to make sure that you're, I'm like, really? I'm trying all that stuff. And like I said, I'm still tweaking things. So maybe the tweaking of things, eventually everything will work out. But again, going back to that video that's getting over 500, 600,000 views, I didn't do anything special in that particular video. The thumbnail is, whatever. I don't know if it's the wording of the thumbnail or the title or what I did, but it worked out. So I guess I need a few more hits like that to really feel comfortable. But anyway, I'm going to keep grinding. I'm going to keep pushing on. I do recommend that people do look at videos that are out there to help YouTubers, things that are, in case there are things you don't know, or there are things that you're completely ignorant about, then go ahead and, all you can do is keep grinding and studying and putting out the content that you want to put out. But stay true to yourself, stay consistent, and keep going. That's all I can say. Time to Talk Podcast. If you've not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe for golden nuggets just like this one, just like this video. Hopefully I helped. Maybe someone came across this. Maybe no one came across it. But if you came across this and it helped you out, I really appreciate. Hit that like button. That means a lot. And that's part of this whole process, letting people know, that call to action, and letting people know, hey, hit that like button, hit subscribe, stick with me. Any questions, whatever, any comments, any advice or guidance you have for me, let me know in the comments below. And and one more thing. I also want to point out, please keep in mind that sometimes you will see spurious. Do not be discouraged by it. You will see spurious channels. You will see people who are they've paid for subscribers, they've paid for likes and for interaction and comments. And a lot of times you can tell, because you'll notice it, because they'll have videos up with 0 comments, or when there are comments, they seem to come out of nowhere and they're very generic comments. Like it's not real interaction, it's not real engagement. So just know that does exist. I do not recommend doing that. I do not recommend, and maybe there's some strategy. I don't know. Again, let me know in the comments. Maybe there's some strategy to doing it where people are buying their likes and buying their subscribers and buying the interactions, and somehow that builds up things for them going forward. Maybe it's a business strategy I don't know about. Let me know in the comments. I don't think it's a good idea. I would not do it. But again, if it works, it works. All right. Like the video, subscribe. I'll see you on the next Time to Talk podcast. Peace.